Hello, today we will recap a horror action movie titled Night Teeth. Before we start, please subscribe to our channel for free because we'll upload new videos regularly. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and enjoy. The film starts with a lady talking about vampires and the agreement they have with humans. There are 3 important rules. 1. Vampires must stay a secret from humans. 2. They can only feed on willing people. 3. They're not allowed to go into Boyle Heights in Los Angeles unless given permission. Next, we see Jay driving with his girlfriend, Maria. They notice someone in the rearview mirror, and the car catches up to them. Jay makes eye contact with Victor, who he calls Dead Man, and quickly drives away to alert his friends. Arriving at a warehouse, Jay instructs Maria to go to her brother's place while he goes inside. To his horror, he discovers all his friends are dead. A scream outside prompts him to return to his car, but he finds the door gone, and Maria is nowhere to be found. Now, we shift to Benny Perez, who's awakened by his teacher during class. After leaving school, he gathers music equipment from different people and heads back home. Upon arriving, Benny greets his grandmother and goes to his room, decked out with anime posters and figurines. Curious about the noise from the next room, he discovers Jay, his brother, engaged in a heated phone argument, expressing frustration about not being able to drive for the night. Benny catches wind of Jay's conversation and suggests he can be the driver. Jay dismisses the idea, pointing out Benny lacks a chauffeur license and a suit. After some back and forth, Jay eventually hands over the car keys, emphasizing the importance of not causing any damage. He instructs Benny to take the passengers to their destinations and return promptly. Thrilled about the opportunity, Benny heads out to pick up the clients. As the night sets in, Benny stops his car outside a big mansion in Beverly Hills. Soon, Blair steps out, and Benny, feeling nervous, greets her, introducing himself as her assigned driver. Casually, Blair points out that Benny's zipper is down, causing him to panic and apologize. Blair notices his lack of experience. Shortly after, Zoe Morrow emerges, and Benny makes his introduction. As she passes by him, Zoe comments, "You look adorable," and hands him a list of addresses they need to visit before morning. At their first stop, the girls don masquerade masks and exit the car. Benny watches as they showcase a gym, obtaining clearance to enter. Meanwhile, we return to Jay, who reveals his intention to break the truce after 3 generations. He packs a bag of guns, declaring that by the next morning, either Victor or they will meet their end. Back with Benny, a loud scream grabs his attention from the supposed party house. Curious, he decides to check it out and discovers the same gym he witnessed earlier. Morrow and Blair emerge, instructing Benny to return to the car. They head to their next stop, the El Azul Hotel. Once there, the girls leave again, urging Benny to stay put. While waiting, he overhears one of the girls' phones receiving a message from Victor, inquiring about Jay. Worried about his brother, Benny tries calling, but it goes to voicemail. In the bags left by the girls, he discovers a stash of money. While going through the cash, he's suddenly splashed with blood. Investigating further, he finds the bag drenched in blood. Simultaneously, the sound of a police car siren approaches from behind. Benny exits the car as the police officer examines the parked vehicles. In the hotel lobby, Benny encounters a rude receptionist who is about to call security. However, when she notices the red gym Benny found earlier, her attitude shifts and she apologizes. Benny explains he's there to meet Blair and Zoe, and the receptionist escorts him to the elevator. Approaching a dimly lit room, he opens the door to discover Blair and Morrow feeding on some fortunate individuals. Zoe attacks Benny, but her surprise grows when he discloses that he's Jay's brother, not Jay himself. The awakened guy cautions the girls, emphasizing that they are protected and that serious consequences will follow if they continue. However, Zoe dismisses the warnings, laughing off the threats. She instructs Blair to finish her drink. While the girls are occupied with their victim, Benny seizes the opportunity to make a run for it and successfully escapes. Returning to the parking lot, Benny encounters the earlier police officer and shares a story. Unfortunately, the officer doesn't believe him and proceeds to arrest Benny. Initially relieved, Benny urges the officer to take him away, but to his shock, the officer opens the trunk, revealing a body bag. The officer cryptically informs Benny that what occurs upstairs stays there. Zoe and Blair emerge, downplaying Benny's account, stating he misunderstood the situation and that the guys upstairs just received the best suck of their lives. The scene shifts to Victor, who prepares an unusual blood drink for himself. Walking through a corridor, he passes people being drained of their blood within glass panels. Victor then visits another house where he meets Eva. When she questions why he's there, Victor casually mentions having a drink with his superiors. Another woman, Grace, appears, enjoying a blood cocktail. She confronts Victor for crossing the line by entering Boyle Heights. Attempting to distract Victor, Eva belittles him, labeling him as middle management and advising him to know his place. However, Victor pays little attention to the girls, leaving and heading to the balcony. On the balcony, Victor expresses his discontent with the rules, feeling that treating humans as equals and being restricted on whom to feed from is akin to a prison sentence. Grace elaborates on the consequences of exposure, warning that their wealth and luxurious lifestyle would vanish. Despite this, Victor calmly smiles and informs them that they've misunderstood him. He reveals that he has come to inform them that he is dismantling their entire network at that very moment. Blair tells Benny that his brother Jay is in charge of Boyle Heights and knows how to deal with vampires. She explains that her kind controls the city and answers to 5 big vampire bosses in LA. They wanted to become more powerful by getting rid of the other bosses that night, using Jay. But things got messed up when they ended up with Benny instead of Jay. Zoe calls Victor to tell him about the mix-up with the brothers. Victor calmly says it's not a problem and that they plan to use Benny to gain an advantage. As they get out of the car, Blair cautions Benny not to do anything foolish or reveal their secret, or else she'll have to harm him. Benny, Zoe, and Blair go into the club and head to the second floor, ready to confront another boss named Big Lou. Simultaneously, Jay's gang enters the club from the back alley. When the girls reach Big Lou's office, they find someone else there who informs them that Big Lou is no longer present. Unhappy with the unexpected situation, Blair suggests to Zoe that they should exit. Suddenly, a group of men emerges, encircling the girls with crossbows. The man in charge commands the group to eliminate them, but Benny intervenes by smashing a champagne bottle on his head, providing an opportunity for the girls to counterattack. As they make their escape, Jay notices them descending the stairs. He tries to reach his brother, but a vampire blocks his way. Afterward, Jay encounters some Night Legion individuals in a back alley. They caution him that he can't win alone, but Jay insists that he only wants Victor. One of the Night Legion members scoffs, telling Jay to find her if he survives the upcoming night. Meanwhile, Benny brings the girls to his house and urges them to stay quiet to avoid alerting his grandma. The same police officer from earlier pulls Jay over, revealing the location where Victor wants to meet. Zoe calls Victor to tell him what's going on. Benny grabs some weapons from his brother. When he goes back to his room, he finds Blair looking at his anime stuff. Benny says it's from his childhood. Blair likes his music and driving skills, and things get a bit close, but Zoe walks in. Jay arrives at the meeting spot, begging Victor to release Maria and Benny, emphasizing their innocence in all this. Victor denies the request, stating that nobody will be spared. In an attempt to stop Victor, Jay shoots him in the head and tries to stab him, but Victor regenerates completely from the gunshot. Victor taunts Jay, suggesting he saves some of her for him. Jay is shocked as Victor implies that he cooked Maria and served her as a steak. Benny, Blair, and Zoe reach the final boss location for the last showdown. They encounter Rocco, who grants them entry. Zoe instructs Blair and Benny to step out, referring to the situation as adults' business. While outside, Benny confides in Blair about Jay being like a father figure to him during his upbringing. After Blair assures Benny that she doesn't intend to harm him, they share a moment and start making out. Inside, Zoe prepares to attack Rocco, but he's already aware of their plans. Suddenly, multiple individuals enter the bar from behind, initiating a brawl. Blair joins Zoe, directing Benny to get the car ready for their escape. While trying to escape, the girls face an ambush from the Night Legion. Instead of running away, Benny chooses to help them, sparking another fight as more vampires join in. Benny and the girls successfully escape, but Zoe is injured by one of the Night Legion's arrows and is slowly dying. They reach their final destination, Victor's house. However, Blair warns Benny to leave immediately, stating he'll be killed if he enters. Despite the warning, Benny decides to face the situation and bravely returns to the house. Upon entering the house, Benny discovers his brother chained up, undergoing a blood transfer. As he tries to break the glass, Victor intervenes, preventing his interference. Victor brings Benny to the girls, revealing that Zoe has healed because she received fresh blood. Victor explains that when he initially arrived, he had to adapt to the blood, and now he's addicted, unable to get enough of it. Benny attempts to stab Victor with a knife, but Victor effortlessly blocks the move. Blair steps in, trying to defend Benny, mentioning that he saved their lives. However, Victor dismisses her plea, stating he'll make it quicker. Blair expresses her desire to leave, but Zoe insists she can't because Zoe is the one who turned Blair into a vampire. Fed up with the situation, Victor places a knife in Zoe's hand, forces Zoe to stab Blair, and then blames Benny for everything. Benny, in a quick-thinking move, uses his car remote to drive the car forward, breaking through the wall and allowing sunlight to flood in, instantly evaporating Zoe. Victor tricks Benny into stepping into the dark where his brother is, and Benny gets bitten. Blair stabs Victor, but he hits her back and turns back to Benny. Before Victor can harm Benny, Jay intervenes and pushes Victor into the light. Victor's powers prove insufficient against the exposure, and he starts to weaken. Blair hurries to Benny, who has lost a lot of blood from his neck. The only way to save him, as you might have guessed, is to turn him into a vampire too. Blair bites her wrist, and Benny willingly drinks her blood. Later, Benny wakes up in his bed, now a vampire, as sunlight burns him. Jay attends a memorial for Maria. The brothers reunite for dinner. Benny leaves a surprise for Jay, the bag of blood money. Rude classmates encounter Benny, questioning his whereabouts. Their chat is cut short when Blair arrives in her sports car, urging Benny to join her as they're running late. Wearing sunglasses, Benny embraces his new identity as a Sigma male and offers his classmates a ride. If you like the story, then do watch the full film. And if you want to watch more such amazing recaps, then do subscribe to our channel. See you in the next recap.